All right, let's dive right into this explainer, pun absolutely intended, and see how the Sea Weapons mod is going to completely overhaul your aquatic gameplay. If you've spent any real amount of time exploring the deep blue biomes of your world, you know exactly how vast, mysterious, and frankly dangerous those oceans can be. But let's be honest, the tools we're usually given to conquer those depths, they leave a lot to be desired. So today, we're breaking down exactly how this mod transforms you from a struggling, slow swimmer into an absolute powerhouse of the sea. We're going to look at the gear, the mechanics, and the customizations that make this overhaul an absolute must-have. Man, it's a feeling we all know way too well, right? You're down there exploring the depths, maybe trying to clear out a monument or face down some deep-sea hostiles, and suddenly it hits you, vanilla gear just isn't powerful enough. You're relying on a standard trident, and yeah, while it's a neat tool at first, there comes a point where it just doesn't cut it anymore. The damage output plateaus, the utility feels super limited, and you're just left wanting something with a lot more impact. Well, that exact pain point is the driving force behind this entire overhaul. Section 1. Beyond the standard trident. So this really paints the picture of the core upgrade we're talking about here. We're ditching those standard limited tridents, which sure we all recognize, but they really don't scale well, and we're swapping them out for some massive, heavy, ocean-themed gear. And I want to be clear, this isn't just a tiny stats bump, it's a literal game changer for how you approach aquatic combat. You are trading in a lightweight throwing spear for equipment that carries some serious weight and presence in the water.
Section 2. Heavy ocean-themed gear.
You are getting highly unique items built to absolutely dominate the water. Specifically, we're talking about a giant hammer and a special sword. Just picture that for a second. A giant hammer implies incredible blunt force trauma, which is exactly the kind of heavy, impact-driven combat you need when you're fighting through the thick resistance of water. And alongside it, a special sword crafted specifically to slice right through the currents rather than fighting against them. These aren't just generic weapons with a blue texture slapped on them, you know? They are designed from the ground up for this exact environment. The whole point here is that these new weapons step up when the standard options just kind of fizzle out. This mod is the answer to a very specific progression wall. When you're swarmed by high-tier aquatic enemies and your standard gear is barely making a dent, pulling out a giant hammer totally flips the script. It gives you the sheer stopping power you actually need to survive and thrive where the normal equipment fails.
Section 3. Dynamic movement and attacks.
Now, this is where the gameplay truly evolves. The mod completely transforms your mechanics, giving you totally dynamic new ways to physically interact with your environment. It's not just about swinging a heavier weapon, it's a complete mobility overhaul. You can pull yourself around the world, jump with crazy new agility, and pull off unique attacks tied directly to these weapons. In vanilla gameplay, water restricts you, right? It slows you down. But with this mod, the water basically becomes your playground. You aren't just swimming anymore, you're actively maneuvering with real speed and intent. Let's zoom in on that first step, because it is massively important. The ability to actively pull yourself around, that is a mechanical shift that fundamentally alters how you traverse the world and handle battles. Imagine an enemy trying to kite you from a distance. Instead of doing that agonizingly slow underwater dog paddle while you're out of breath, you use your heavy sea gear to dynamically yank yourself right into their face before unleashing a massive attack. It completely takes the sluggishness out of underwater fighting and injects it with this high-speed, aggressive energy. Section 4. Custom enchantments and skins. This breakdown perfectly shows how the mod gives you total control over both function and form. On the functional side of things, you've got custom enchantments tailored to buff up the stats and effects of your heavy gear, optimizing your build for exactly how you like to play. And for form, cosmetic skins. You aren't locked into a single look. You can absolutely dominate the ocean while still maintaining your own unique visual style. It's really the perfect marriage of raw statistical power and serious visual flair. Like it says right here, the ultimate goal is to give you the exact tools you need to make your gear look exactly how you want. Let's be real, this taps into a fundamental truth about gamers. We want to look awesome while we're winning. Handing players massive, powerful weapons is great and all, but letting them apply cosmetic skins makes the whole experience uniquely yours. You aren't just swinging a giant hammer, you're swinging your giant hammer. Section 5. How to use. Putting all this heavy, customized ocean gear into practice creates an incredibly satisfying gameplay loop. First up, make the choice. Equip the giant hammer for those crushing blows or the special sword for slicing through the depths.
Second, dial in the function by applying those custom enchantments to maximize your damage. Third, nail down the form by setting your cosmetic skin. And finally, step 4 is where the magic happens. Get out there and use those dynamic new movement mechanics to jump, pull, and attack. It's a super streamlined, highly effective system that basically turns you into the apex predator of the ocean.
So, what's it going to be? How will you use this powerhouse new arsenal to completely conquer your world? Will you go for the brute force of the giant hammer or the sleek precision of the special sword? How are you going to use that incredible pulling mechanic to outmaneuver everything in your path? That standard vanilla trident is officially obsolete, guys. The real question is, are you ready to stop just surviving the ocean and start actually ruling it?